What's going on? Hey, welcome to the replay. Welcome to Daily Fuel. My name is Bobby. I'm the host of this group, The Spiritual Artist. And so today's Thursday. And if you're watching in the replay, you can let me know that you're here in the replay. Mikey is the first commenter again. Dude, you're like, I'm going to call the Guinness Book of Records. I don't know that would be an interesting record or anything like that, but, pretty cool. You're the first one every day. So if you're here in the replay, then let me know that you're here in the replay. You can write hashtag replay, hashtag... I really got to think of some and then do this spiel because it's the same ones every day. I can't think of any off the top of my head. You guys come up with some funny ones sometimes, and I like that. Somebody did Replay Heaven once. I thought that was cool. I was like, yeah, that's cool. So anyway, that's enough of replay, people. And if you're here live, like Mikey and somebody else, you can let me know that you're here live. You can start commenting, and I'm going to say hello to some people when they're commenting. Nobody's commenting yet. I know Facebook was down today. Did you see that? I went to schedule my live, and I couldn't get Facebook to load up. But I went to the app, and the app was loading up. So it was weird. But then I realized that the things that were loading up in the app seemed old. And then I went back to Facebook.com, and then I'm looking on Twitter, and it's saying, yeah, Facebook is down. I'm like, oh. And man, all of a sudden I started getting this feeling like, what would we do if Facebook was down? Right? Like, oh my goodness, that's not a good thing. So I don't know, maybe people will be late, maybe people don't know it's back up, or maybe you didn't even know that it was down. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but you know what, it's been 2 minutes, and I'm sure people will show up eventually. So let's just get started without them. They can watch the replay with you guys. All right, let's go. Consistent. I'm gonna Ray's not here to remind me. I'm gonna take a breath for a second because I've been running around trying to get everything ready, and get to here, and now I'm already out of breath, and I haven't even started the damn thing. So consistency. What does consistency mean? What do I mean by that? It means to pick a time schedule and do your thing at a consistent rate, to do it at the same schedule all the time. It doesn't have to be like every day at 3:00. I don't mean that, but you don't want to do something like for an extended period of time and then stop it for a long time and then whatever. I can't comment on phone. Well, you just commented. What? I'm teasing you. I understand what you mean. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, I used to take a sales training class, and one of the things that they taught me in this class was when it came to prospecting and doing cold calls and stuff like that, was to do a little bit all the time, and not a lot, a little bit of it at the time. In other words, don't do it for like 6 days, like all day long, and and then like take 2 weeks off. You want to just do it for an hour a day, right? Every day. Or, I say this in everything. If you're marketing yourself, you want to kind of have a schedule where you post something once a day instead of posting every day 16 times a day for 3 weeks, and then you disappear for a month because you lose all the momentum. So we tend to stop and start things. And I think because what happens is we start stuff and we're doing it maybe with a little consistency, maybe like, I have this resolution, I'm going to do it with this new plan. But when we don't see the results right away, because the results are a reflected mirror back to us of what we do, but it takes time. It takes time to happen. The energy's got to go out, it has to go around, and it's got to come back. So we're putting the energy out for a little while, and it starts to go around, and then we're like, I don't see anything coming back yet, so I'm not doing this anymore, and we stop. And then the energy, instead of going around and coming back to us, just goes and dissipates and dies. So I do that a lot. Who's that? That is Amethyst. Hi, how are you? Welcome to Daily Fuel, Amethyst. I don't see you here, but I see you on my phone. So there's an Ecamm link at the top description here. If you click on that and give Ecamm permission, then it'll let me see you on there. Anyway, back to the thing. Also, usually I ignore the comments, but I just saw that, and I read it. So you can keep commenting, but I'm going to ignore them now. So I've got 3 things to talk about today. The first is to create with consistency. As artists, we want to create, we want to make our art, we want to do our thing. Doing it consistently rather than in sputters and start, stop, right? And instead of doing it that way, if we do it consistently over time, then what happens is we will see marked improvements. We won't get stale and we won't get static. And but more importantly than that is we start to attract inspiration. When you're doing something at a consistent rate, then you may not feel like doing it the second day. Maybe the first day you're like gung-ho, darn it, I'm doing this, and you do it and it's great. And now the second day you wake up and you're like, I'm going to do it again and I don't feel like it. Well, maybe not exactly the second day, but you know what I mean. Pretty shortly after you start, you might just feel winded from it. You might feel like the wind's leaving the sails and you're just not seeing the results, or it's getting boring or something like that. Do it anyway. Because what happens is you're flexing those muscles and you're just doing the work, and inspiration gets attracted to you from that. And what I mean by that is that as you're doing it, you start to be able to see ideas. They start to pop up in front of you. That's what I mean by doing this stuff consistently sends the energy out. And the energy goes around and comes back. And first it starts to come back as little ideas. Oh, what if I did it this way instead? And you start doing your art with a different tool or a different medium or a different thing or a different way or a different time of day, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But you start to see these little ideas. And at first they're just little flashes. And then you see it again, and then maybe you start paying attention to it, and then you start seeing patterns in these ideas, and you start to get inspiration to expand it and do something even bigger and better than you had originally planned. Case in point, you're watching me do that. That's what Daily Fuel is. Daily Fuel was an idea that I had to say, how can I hold myself to the fire, so to speak, so that I am bringing it every day. Daily Fuel. If I do it daily. Now you saw, if you've been in the group long enough, you saw about a month or two ago, I don't know, for a few weeks, I was like, I'm not going to do Daily Fuel every day. It's just going to be a couple of days a week. And then it was once a week. And then, I almost did, there was 1 week where I don't think I did any. And then, and I felt the energy. It's like I was building this momentum through Daily Fuel. And the energy was going out. And then while I stopped doing it, the energy was still coming back to me because I had put it out already for a couple of months. And it was still coming back to me. So I was like, this is fine. The energy's still coming back. But now I wasn't putting out the original, right? So eventually it started to dissipate. The energy started to dissipate in the group. I could feel it. I could sense it. There wasn't much going on other than the same usual stuff. But nothing new was happening. No new people were coming in. There was no new energy. There was nothing. It wasn't thriving or growing. It was just kind of floating along on the energy that it had before. Then I started doing the Daily Fuels again, and I said, no, I'm doing this. I'm going to do this on a daily basis. This is my way of pulling it out of me and putting it out there. Some of these I think are great. Some of these I think it's over in 17 or 16 minutes, and I'm just like, well, that was a Daily Fuel. It's like I did the best I could. Today, I didn't have it today, At least that's how I feel. And but what happens to me is that by doing these Daily Fuels, I start to get new ideas. I start to see patterns in what I'm talking about. And then you guys give me ideas back. And the comments you're saying give me ideas about what I can do with my business and what I could be creating here. But that wouldn't happen if I didn't show up every day. If I just opened this group and said, hey, just throw your art down and let's talk about that, then that'd be fine. There'd be nothing wrong with that, but that wouldn't be helping me to create the ideas and the patterns that I'm trying to see for myself, and hopefully for you as well. So that's number one, is to pick a consistent rate to create your art. And number two is to do the same thing with marketing. As artists, if you're one of those people who's like, I make this for me, I hang it on my wall, I don't care, I don't want anyone to see it, then this part doesn't really matter to you. But a lot of us want to have a career in art, a business in art. And so the marketing part is important. Now, the nice thing about marketing for us is we create all our art is the marketing tool. All we have to do is show it. Just show it to people and be like, look at this thing I painted. Look at this thing I built. Look at this thing I drew. Look at this thing I made. Listen to this song. It's like the art that we create becomes the marketing pieces themselves. So we don't have to do much else other than put it out there, share it, post it every day. Or, maybe you don't make a new thing every day, but pick a time frame that makes sense for your art and continually post it on that rate at a consistent rate. Generally, it doesn't have to be every day at 3:00 or every Friday at noon. It's just like, but if you're doing once a week, then don't skip 3 weeks. If you miss the Friday, then do it on Saturday or Sunday. But at least it's kind of averaging out to once a week or every day or whatever. So the only thing when it comes though to marketing yourself is that we then tend to think of, oh, well, I'm marketing myself. I'm putting this on Instagram, or I'm sharing it in Facebook groups, or I'm sharing it on my profile on my business page. But only 3 people liked the one yesterday. That's not enough of anything. And the 3 people liking it is not a sale, So we get hung up on these metrics and the measurements of their 3D measurements, right? The how many likes you get, how many things you get. It's like I can see how many people are watching right now. So it's like, but if I get hung up on that doesn't help me, because yesterday was 12, but today is 6. So what does that mean? Oh my God, my thing is only half as liked today. No, it just means Facebook was down and it's a weird day. Who cares how many people there are here? Because all those other people might just watch it in the replay. And for all I know, more people will see it in the replay than saw yesterday's that had more people live. It doesn't matter. The metrics on a day-to-day basis don't matter. What matters is that you're putting it out there on a daily or whatever rate consistently. And so here's the deal. You can't control how many people are going to show up on your live, or how many people are going to like your thing, or how many people are going to see it even. You can't control that. That's completely beyond your control. But what you can control is your behavior. So here's another story from my sales training. They would teach us this thing called an AB journal, attitude and behavior journal. Your attitude is that, I'm going to be successful and I'm going to put in the effort to do it, generally, right? The behavior is the actions that I can control. So they would teach us cold calling. This was just picking up the phone, dialing and calling, right? So they were saying, you cannot control if someone's going to pick up the phone. And if they do pick up the phone, are they going to talk to you? And if they do talk to you, are they going to buy anything or set up a meeting or whatever? But you can't even control if they're going to answer the phone. But the one thing you can control is that you're going to pick up the phone and dial. That you can control. So the attitude and behavior journal was to write what your attitude is. Like, I'm going to do my cold calls today. And just understand that all I'm doing is putting energy out. I'm not making cold calls to make a sale. I am making cold calls to put the energy out into the world, put it out into the universe. I cannot control who answers the phone, if anybody, but I can control that I am going to make 10 phone calls today. And you write that down. And then you write the names of the people down that you called. And you make the 10 calls and you write down their names. Well, the story went that there was a guy who made his 10 calls and nobody answered the phone. And the next day he made his 10 calls and nobody answered the phone. And the next day he made his 10 calls and nobody answered the phone. And by the end of the week, he made 50 calls and maybe one person answered the phone and hung up on him. And he felt like crap. He just wanted to quit his job, quit sales, quit everything, and just, live on a boat. So a month or two later, somebody called him back and talked to him, and he got a sale, and it was a big, huge sale. And when he looked at his behavior journal, he saw that on that Tuesday that he felt like real crap, or Friday, whatever I said, right? That day that he felt like real crap, that was the day he called that guy. But the guy called back a month later and made a big sale. So if he had just said, I made my calls, and I know that I'm putting energy out there, and somebody is going to get back to me eventually, but only because I did this thing today, he could have been happy that whole time. Instead, he was miserable for a month. Then he made the sale, and then he was happy. But it's not about that. It's about being happy because you're doing the behavior, knowing and trusting that the energy will come back to you. So I don't have three things. I have two things. Those are them. And this is going long. So I'm going to go to the comments because I see I see essays here. But check this out. I have a surprise for you today. This is a feature that Ecamm does. Wow, a lot of you are... by the way, when I... all right, hang on. So, all right, I can't paint... Who's that? It's all amethyst. Okay, so... I should have told you to put an A, but now we're at the end of the thing, so it doesn't really matter. She says, hi, if you're still here. I can't paint if my head isn't focused. I just make mistakes. Okay. What was I talking about? Anyway, I'm sorry. So Robin's here, and I feel fishy tonight. Okay, the fishes. So check it out. Crimson is here, so this is a good one to start with. So Crimson is here. Check this out. All right. So Crimson says, you like that? That's cool, right? Crimson says, yes, I agree that I get more ideas when I'm consistent, and more ideas stem from my initial ideas when I start shifting my perceptions. I love how all your videos form together, come together. When I'm consistent and more ideas stem from my initial ideas. Yeah, so you start with an idea and you work on it. But even if you get stuck, you keep working on it because the behavior attracts more energy, and the more energy sparks this idea, or you get a phone call, or somebody says something, or so you get a comment on it because you shared it. Even though you're not sure, I think this is good, but you put it out there and you get a comment, and then that sparks the idea for the next one that's even better. But you wouldn't have gotten that if you didn't put this one out. So that's how that goes. Now, by the way, guys, you hear me talk about the anonymous thing all the time. This is what I see when you're anonymous. I don't see your name and I don't see your face. So I see the comment. I have no idea who it is. This one is Amethyst. I read it a second ago. So let's see. Mikey says, it can be difficult to maintain consistency during the inevitable creative dry spells. Sometimes during those times, I'll go back and revive or revise an old work, and that feeds new inspiration. I like that idea. I really, really like that idea. So what he's saying is you're trying to be consistent in the creation or even the marketing part, right? But you have one of those days where it's like, you know what your behavior needs to be. I need to create something. I need to work on something. I need to keep it going. But I literally can't think of anything. Now, there are some days where you're just not there. Your mind is completely not there. Maybe something terrible happened, or there was something that went on that was difficult or different, and you need time. That's okay. We're not talking about those extreme cases. We're talking about that day when it's just not coming. So what he's saying is he goes back to his archives and he pulls out an old piece of work. Maybe it's something unfinished, or maybe it's something. It doesn't mean you need to, if you're a painter, it doesn't mean you need to take a blank canvas and go from beginning to end and finish a painting. Maybe it's just stretch some new canvases. Maybe just work on the work of your art. For Mikey as a musician, it could just be, if you're a guitar player or something, it could just be practicing your scales. If you're a singer, it could be doing exercises. You don't have to be creating new masterpieces of art every single day. It could be just doing the doing of art, doing the basics, the fundamentals. Thanks for that, Mikey. That was really helpful. Where am I? Okay, so here's a blank one. I'm guessing it's Amethyst again. Yes. I keep not doing my tarot nights too. Oops. I've probably skipped about 4. That happens. All right. Now, here's what happens. When you do inevitably skip, because this is like the best case scenario that I'm talking about. Don't skip. Don't miss nights. Don't do this. Don't do that. But guess what? We're human beings. We do. So that is when you just want to say, okay, well, as Abraham would say, I'm putting my boat in the water here. You just start again. You just wake up the next day and you start from there. It's okay. We're human beings. It doesn't matter in the scheme of the universe. The universe isn't going to punish you because you missed 4 nights of doing your tarot thing. I don't mean to make that sound like I don't care about it. I don't tarot night card readings, right? You're not going to be punished for it or anything like that. It just means that you start from where you are. So there's that. And Robin says, yes. See, when you write more, your picture's bigger. So, yes, the more I keep staying with creating, the more I find I want to explore. And exploring leads to learning, and learning leads to all kinds of new discoveries. If I didn't keep at it, I might be doing the same old stuff or not meeting up with new stuff that spurs on new discoveries, and it might become boring. Yeah, because if you stop and start, then the next time you start, it's like you got to gear up to where you were before. So you're redoing what you did before just to get back to where you were. Here's an example of in my life is singing. I really love singing, but I noticed that I get busy with work. I'm a dad, I'm a this, I'm a that. I got clients, right? I run this group and I do my lives every day, and I don't practice singing all the time. Now, I'm not trying to create a career in singing. It's just something that I like to do. And I have a project that I'm formulating that has the singing involved. But because I might go weeks or a month or 2 months without even singing at all, then when I go back to it, I need a few days just to get my voice back to a level that I'm even happy with another human being hearing. You know, it's like I didn't forget how to sing. I didn't lose my talent, but I might sing 2 or 3 songs and my throat is tired, my voice is tired, and so that's not great. But if I were consistently practicing, consistently working on it, then I could build up to being able to do it for longer stretches or get new ideas or come up with new ways of phrasing things or singing things or new techniques. But I don't do that, so I don't get that. Where are we? I read that. This move, I read that. Okay. Somebody said fair. Who said fair? Amethyst. Fair. All right. See, this is a great. See, this Amethyst, you're new here. So when you write one-word comments, you say it as I'm saying something. Fair. Everybody else knows what you meant when you said fair. By the time I read fair, I have no idea. What my favorite is when people are like excellent or yes, and I just go, see, I must have said something smart. Apparently, I said something fair. So I will take it. Robin says, I finally have become more accepting of knowing that I can't ever control others. Yeah. And learn to not to let their actions or attitudes control me in influencing my emotions or opinions of myself. Good. Because the most important opinion of myself is the one I have of me. Wonderful. That's perfect. That's a great way to say it. I don't need to riff on that. You said it perfectly. LOL for tarot. For tarot, I have to hope 2 sides answer. I'm afraid I don't really know much about tarot. I don't know what you mean by 2 sides answer, but I understand what you're saying. Robin says, doing the behavior, knowing and trusting. Genius. Genius. I'm a genius. And so true. The whole thing is to do the work regardless, because I have the belief that the universe will find you. Whenever it is, it will sometime because you have done the work. Yeah, again, so you just keep doing it consistently. You put it out there, and the energy does its thing, and it comes back to you with good stuff. And that's the law of attraction, right? So there you go. And Marsha's here. Hi, Marsha. Let's see what we got. Marsha says, oh, that's a cute little puppy. You have to be disciplined. I need to make a to-do list every night. Check on your advertising each day and make adjustments if necessary. Good. Check messages and emails and follow up on phone calls and incorporate new ideas. Has to be done on a daily basis for me. Oh, and hello, Bobby. Hello, Marsha. How are you? Thank you for that comment. I agree. For me, daily stuff works as well. Robin is talking to Mikey. Mikey, yes, I do that all the time. I take a previous work or idea and play with it, and then things can have a new chance to happen. Cool. And I'm guessing this is Amethyst again. Says, good point, and LOL. So, if that is it, then Amethyst, you are the last commenter for the day, and so you get the booby prize for today's Daily Fuel. So whoever wrote the last comment gets the booby prize for the day. Just check your mailbox, and I'll mail it to you. There's no prize. So that's it. So even if sometimes people swoop in and do another comment, because as you can see, I didn't just end the video. I just keep blabbing for another minute or two, and people swoop in and write another comment. But even if they do, since this is your first Daily Fuel, I think, then you still get it. Anyway, so you officially got today's prize. All right, I am done now, so let's be finished. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, as always. I appreciate it very much. And yeah, just be consistent in your efforts as best you can. By the way, let me just make one last point. Consistency does not mean every day, if every day is too hard for you, right? I chose Daily Fuel because it sounded cool rather than Weekly Fuel, right? And also because daily just worked for me to do it this way, but there's a lot of things that I don't do daily that I only do once a month or, once in a while or something like that. So if your consistency isn't every day, I can only paint on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, then do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You don't have to sit there beating yourself up wondering, how do I do this every day? Consistently doesn't mean every day. It means at the same rate over time. If that rate is once a month, do it consistently once a month, okay? So you have to find the rate that works in your life and then just do it consistently rather than cramming it in and then leaving it for a while and then cramming it in again. That doesn't work. You lose all momentum, and then all that time that you're cramming it in, all you're doing is building back to the momentum of where you were before. And then you stop. And so you never get anywhere. And you wonder, this doesn't work. I try it all the time and nothing ever happens. That's why. So, wow, that's a lot of... wow, you really want the booby prize. You're making sure you're getting all the comments in. Good point. LOL. I won't check your mailbox. Thanks for entertaining. Great show. Hope I can come back and watch again. Well, we're here every day except Sunday. What I do is I do a post earlier in the day. I don't know what time zone you're in. I'm Eastern time zone. So around sometime between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock Eastern, I do a post where I do a big image and the theme of the day. And you can like it or heart it or comment or something, and I'll tag you. I also have a list of people who ask to be tagged every day. So at any time, if you would like to just be tagged every day, let me know, and I'll put you on that list. And then when I go live, I usually post the live 30 to 60 minutes prior to going live, and I tag everybody for that day. And then so that you have time to get here. So it's every day except Sunday. Robin says, we hope you can too. And Amethyst says, awesome. I'm glad you made it today. It's very nice to see you here. So, and if you can, click that Ecamm Live so I can see you. But Amethyst gets the booby prize. Me, please. Me, please. What does that mean? What, tag you, please? I'm not sure what you mean by me, please. I will wait one moment to see if another comment comes in. But... all right. You know what? I'll check the comments after I'm gone. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Have a wonderful night. Thanks so much. Bye.